Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor on AGam in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Cabus. Today we focus on drought and climate in agriculture with the Department of Agriculture Economics from Kansas State University. Today we feature researchers and professors with experience in moisture research, land markets, and water management resources. Also today, we feature an update on foreign relations and the Kansas State Fair with the Kansas Department of Agriculture. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment is brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome back to the program. Recently, Farm Factor spoke with agriculture researchers at the Risk and Profit Conference in Manhattan. This year's topic was about drought and climate in agriculture. Mykel Taylor is an assistant professor in agriculture economics at Kansas State University and attended the Risk and Profit Conference.
The Department of Agricultural Economics participates in the Risk and Profit Conference. We actually put it on, and we provide a diversity of topics from our faculty, both our extension and our research and teaching faculty, on a variety of issues. And it can range from land values, which is an area that I talk about, to farm finance, risk management, crop insurance, consumer issues, just a wide variety. A lot of times it's what our faculty are most interested in or what they study, and so it gives them an opportunity to share with the public the importance and the latest developments in some of these economic issues. I think the presentations have been very informative. We've had several speakers that we have invited in from outside of the department. We've had Gary Brester from Montana State University, Elwynn Taylor from Iowa State University, and Keith Coble from Mississippi State University. And it's been great to have those folks come in and give us a little bit of an outside perspective. We certainly have our faculty here at K-State who are very intimately familiar with things going on in Kansas, but it's great to have people from other states who can come in and give us a different perspective of what agriculture is doing in their areas and how that's related to what's going on here in Kansas. So I think that's been a really great contribution to the quality of the conference this year.
Mykel Taylor spoke about land markets to producers and others in a presentation at the event.
So the land market has been very hot for the last several years, and it looks like it's finally starting to slow down a little bit. We have a couple different sources of data, some from the USDA and some from the actual market sales of land here in Kansas, and both indicators are showing that for 2015 we're going to see a slowdown in land values and perhaps even just a slight decline. USDA numbers have us dropping about 2% from last year in terms of overall land values. So that's part of what we discussed today. We also talked about where cash rents are going for ag land, which is a huge driver of land values. And net farm income was down for 2014 according to KFMA data, and 2015 it has a high probability of also being lower than it has been over the last several years. And so those are factors that affect cash rents and the ability of people to pay for leased land, and all of those things factor into land values. Well, I guess one of the things we've discussed is some of the differences between cropland and pasture, and they're actually moving in different directions. Cropland is softening, that market is softening, and we're starting to see in a few parts around the state that we're having land go up for auction and it's not selling. So people are already experiencing a little bit softer market. But the pasture market is quite different, and the USDA numbers there are saying that over last year's values that we're going to be up about 6 to 7%. And that increase is really being driven by the strength of the livestock sector. The cattle markets are strong, and there's good returns to cattle production. And so pasture land right now is in high demand, and as such the land values are reflecting it, as are the cash rents, which have really started to go up over the last year.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn. For livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan here. Be sure to join me in Wichita, Kansas, September 15th and 16th as myself, Dr. Tom Knopfsinger, and Dr. Mike Apley are going to host Beef Today's Cowboy College. We're going to talk about how to start cattle on feed and some of the new management techniques of getting calves started on feed. To register, go on the internet to www.beeftoday.com/Cowboy College. Get registered, and I'll see you in Wichita, Kansas, September 15th and 16th.
To see this show and past episodes of AGam in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com. This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Good morning and welcome back to Farm Factor. In this segment, we continue to focus on drought and climate in agriculture with an assistant professor who is conducting a presentation at the Risk and Profit Conference in Manhattan. Recently, he talked about water resources and the future of Kansas agriculture. Take a look.
So the main idea that I was looking at is there's a lot of interest in local management of water here in Kansas, especially groundwater, but there's lots of issues, especially it's surface water issues as well. And the question is, can local water users, can irrigators come together and collectively manage their water resource better, and especially in groundwater? Is there an interest in them conserving the groundwater to last longer and reducing their water use and coming together and making those agreements? And so there's two policies in Kansas right now for them to do that. One is through what's called LEMAs, a local enhanced management area. The other is a water conservation area. And the question that I was looking at was, what are design considerations? How do we design these local management areas in ways that get more support among water users? The standard economic rationale for why farmers would want to reduce their water use is that what could be happening is that if everybody can use the groundwater, that they all compete for it, and what happens is what they call the tragedy of the commons, is that the tragedy is that if I don't use it, somebody else will, and so we extract it too fast. But what can happen is that if we come together, if farmers want to come together, then they can reduce that water use, they can make it last longer, and in the end, everyone can be better off from doing that. How big those benefits are from coming together and managing it, I'm not necessarily arguing how big those benefits are, and certainly there's a cost in coming together. It's a lot of communication, a lot of effort to come together and manage that, and so but if farmers do want to make that choice and they perceive those benefits, then how could they best do that, and what are some important considerations? One of the key insights that I want to make is that a lot of the issues farmers are facing in coming together and collectively managing water resources are the same type of issues a lot of people have had to deal with in other situations. In totally different contexts. Nothing to do with Kansas, nothing to do with irrigation often, but people have to come together and manage some resource for the betterment of everybody, and the same type of challenges people face in those other areas. And there's been a lot of insights of how to design those policies, and I think there's a lot of insights we can learn from the experience of others in this.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
Fall is a great time to plant trees, shrubs, and perennials. Root development this fall means more growth with less watering next year. For faster root growth, always use Fertilome Root Stimulator. It is the only stimulator which contains IBA rooting hormone. Use Fertilome tree and shrub food after the plant has been planted for a month.
Save 25% now on Jackson's homegrown hardy perennials. Let Jackson's friendly staff help you select the best plants for your landscape.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Troy Soukup is from Ellsworth and is the immediate past president of the Ag Bankers Division of the Kansas Bankers Association. And Troy, as we all know in agriculture, we are starting to see a tougher economy take place in agriculture. And as a banker representing the Ag Bankers Division here in Kansas, what are some of the tips or possible ideas for farmers out there that you can give to help them through the tough economy?
First and foremost, I guess as a lender would like to remind everyone that your lender can be one of your strongest allies. We sure want to see our customers succeed just about as badly as they want to succeed. But my first tip would probably be to know your cost of production. Sounds cliche, sounds simple, but it does take a little more into some of those calculations than what you think. But that's an important thing for producers to do. We also think if you can plan ahead as much as you can, some projected cash flow with multiple yield and price scenarios. Spreadsheets are a great tool to help us do that today. Continue to focus on efficiency. It's said get better before you get bigger, and I think that is definitely important as we face narrower margins today. Finally, remember that economics are cyclical and that we will see better prices and margins again.
How important is it to keep up to date with your banker, looking at your finances?
Communication is very important. The better that we communicate, the better chance that we are in a position to help you get through the tough times. And the most important thing we talked about with our customers is really good communication.
One of the other things to look at, and some may say, well, I can't deal with this right now. I can take care of it here in a month or so. But it's really something, if you've got financial problems, deal with it immediately.
Yeah, we definitely, sometimes an extension is the correct avenue to go, and that's where that communication plays in. Sometimes that's exactly what we need to do. But in general, the earlier that we can help you make a plan and to address some of those issues, generally the better off the scenario is for both parties in situations like that. One of the worst things we can do is really to ignore problems, and because the longer they go, usually the tougher they are to solve.
Troy, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg.
Troy Soukup, who is from Ellsworth, Kansas. He serves as the immediate past president of the Ag Bankers Division of the Kansas Bankers Association, and he joins us on the latest edition of the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, Farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
Good morning and welcome back to the program. In this segment, we talk with Terry Griffin, who is a researcher at Kansas State University and a recent addition to the faculty. We spoke with him on his field work in Kansas agriculture. Weather in the state prompted the research from Griffin, and he discovered several events and issues that could be applicable to producers.
I arrived at Kansas State University about 7 months ago, and for my own information, I wanted to track the probability of being able to conduct field work in Kansas for planting, harvesting, and other tillage operations, field operations. And so every week I started collecting data from USDA, National Ag Statistics Service, on the days suitable for field work. And we compared that to the long-term trends from 1978 to 2014, and mainly to get an idea for myself how dry is western Kansas compared to eastern Kansas. But it happened that 2015 was very wet, especially during a time that Kansas farmers were planting corn and starting to plant grain sorghum and soybeans. And so it was really interesting to see how bad of a year or how wet of a year 2015 really was. When we're looking at long-term trends, for instance, a 30-year median, how many days we'd expect, or even in a 30-year period, what's the probability of having a bad year or a good year, we were able to determine, well, 2015 had fewer days suitable than long-term trends would be. What that means for us is that, for instance, during the corn planting time in 2015, a lot of farmers were not able to plant all of their acres that were intended to be planted to corn during that time frame. So there's a good probability of reduced yields if those acres were planted to corn at a later date, or a lot of farmers opted to divert a lot of those acres to other crops such as soybean, grain sorghum, and maybe some others in different locations. The implications for this is how farmers should equip their farms in a decision to, for instance, how big of a planter, or how many planters, or how big of a harvester is needed for this particular acreage is dependent upon the expected suitable field days for planting and harvest. We have a pretty good idea for the long-term trends, but any given year, 2015 being a good example, may be much lower or higher than what we would expect.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses in rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery. And so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results with stem cell injections, but at about 3 to 3.5 months, I started to feel better. I started to have less pain and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months. And I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand. And I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. As fourth-generation farmers themselves, they understand the importance of using the correct products on every acre. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag offers quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today at 800-760-4964 or find us online at HeinenBrothersAg.com.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply. Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. We finished today's program of Farm Factor with a feature with the Kansas Department of Agriculture. The Kansas State Fair runs from September 11th to the 20th, and the Kansas Department of Agriculture is actively participating in the fair with several events to educate, inform, and engage with consumers and producers. Take a look.
Yeah, so we are really fortunate to be able to work with the Kansas State Fair every year. We have several divisions that spend time on fairgrounds during the fair. This year the fair is September 11th through 20th. And the theme is Fried and Joy. So as you can imagine, there'll be a variety of opportunities to get something fried in the food stands, and then also hopefully see some sort of joy through the exhibits. The Kansas Department of Agriculture partners with the Kansas State Fair. We have our Division of Animal Health that works to make sure all of our animals are healthy and that they remain healthy through the fair. We have our Food Safety and Lodging Division that will have a core group of staff down working with the food vendors as they prepare and sell food, just making sure all of our Kansans and visitors to the fair are safe. And then also our Ag Marketing Division. We'll have about 10 employees down there throughout the Kansas State Fair 2-week time frame, hosting and coordinating a variety of activities.
The Kansas Department of Agriculture is also working on foreign relations with ambassadors that visit the state from various countries. These foreign relations strengthen the agriculture trading communications both in-state and abroad. The Kansas Department of Agriculture hosted 3 trade missions earlier this summer, sharing the benefits of grain sorghum with delegates from China.
Okay, so we've had 3 Chinese delegations visit in the past month and a half, and we've learned a lot from them about their interest in our sorghum, and they've learned a lot from us as far as how to incorporate sorghum into swine and poultry diets. And we hope that we're able to go do a reverse trade mission and visit China in the coming year. So Uruguay delegates were really interested in Hereford cattle, so we had the opportunity to visit Elwynn Brothers in Dwight, Kansas, where they got to see their purebred operation. They also hope that the Elwynns will be able to visit them in Uruguay and come to their big beef show down there next year. We had a group from Australia here on Friday, and they were here learning about the grain industry. So they started out in Texas and are working their way to Illinois. And while they were here, they got to learn about KDA and some of the functions of our organization, and also how we transport and store grain in the state of Kansas. The Australian group, I learned they don't really have people who work in politics that also have an ag background, so they were really impressed that a lot of our state politicians have an understanding and appreciation of what farmers do day in and day out.
Thank you for watching today's program of Farm Factor on AGam in Kansas. For more Farm Factor, or if you want to view this program again, visit us on www.agaminkansas.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. So have a good day. with good luck.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. To see this show and past episodes of AGam in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.